Hello and welcome to Retire Rich, Tales of Financial Freedom podcast with your hosts Marc Hernandez and Carlos Lopez. I'm your producer, RJ Malik, and guys, welcome. Hello.
Good morning, RJ. Good morning.
Doing well.
What do you got on tap for today?
Well, we want to talk about a financial program that's near and dear to our hearts. We created it, and we call it Serving the Underserved. A lot of financial advisors, they'll tell you, well, we want to work with high net worth individuals, people that have over $500,000 or more. And sure, we have our share of high net worth individuals. And in my years of service, that has been the norm. But, I asked myself a couple of years ago, who's helping those that don't have $500,000 to invest or $250,000 to invest? Who's helping those that are just starting their careers, maybe just getting out of college, getting their first job, contributing to 401ks, contributing to IRAs or 403bs. And we developed a program that is helping these people become financially independent. And that's what we want to talk about today is how we work with these people, how our program works and how we can help them start the road to financial independence.
What did you see that you wanted to do this program or develop this program? What was it that stood out that you said, okay, this is something that we really have to work on?
Well, we would counsel people that never worked with an advisor. They were getting close to retirement and they had no clue of what they were doing. And we just felt that what if we were working with you 20 years ago or 25 years ago, or if you had financial advice at that time, how much better or further along would you be towards your financial goals and towards reaching financial independence? So Carlos and I developed this program to work with younger individuals, or really anybody that's not working with a financial advisor. It helps them to understand financial programs, what they're doing, what kind of programs they might have at work, or just basic principles regarding life insurance. How life insurance plays a big part in their lives, how saving money and putting away money, how maybe just being very proactive in working with a budget and being able to live within their means. So these were things that were very important to us. And in instituting this program, those that we're working with just seem to be getting further along in the advancement of their and reaching their financial goals and becoming financially independent.
Carlos, did your background, you were a professor there for a period of time. Did that also influence you to gear this program towards younger people?
Yes, definitely. Because when I started teaching at the university, we were under the TRS, Teacher Retirement System of Texas. And when we signed our contracts, or anybody in the TRS system, educators, even my wife that works for the government, anybody that works at 401k, there's this gap because people don't have any direction on what to do once they start their jobs. They don't know how their pensions work. They don't know what their options are. They don't know what a Roth portion of that is. They don't know what to do when there's a match sometimes. And, basically like the author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kawasaki said that everybody's going through or living the rat race. And while you're in your job, while you're actually working, how is your money working for you? That's the question within a 401k, their savings plan, a 403b that you can enroll in for educators, or a 457 plan for municipal employees. So basically, we're leaving a lot of money on the table at that time because we didn't have any direction. Now, the problem is sometimes when you try to get a financial advisor or go to one, the big name companies ask if you have $250,000 or more already in assets. And if that's something that you don't have, then you're turned away. So Marc and I, with this bold innovation of this service is what we're trying to do is we're trying to help build millionaires so they can become financially independent. And we're there to help them keep all their financial goals on track with our follow-ups, which Marc will talk about right now, probably.
Well, RJ, I think billionaires is a little bit higher than what we're reaching for. But, when you have someone starting their career today, it would not be uncommon if they started a program of putting money away through work or on their own and do it consistently and put it in the right places that they could become millionaires. And in the future, most people have to be a millionaire probably to sustain their lifestyle. And what we did was we just took the basic principles of financial planning and made it where the average person could understand it. What we do is if let's say they've got a new job and they've got a 401k, what we do is we have a program that we can attach to help them manage their 401k while they're working. It will tell them when to make adjustments in their 401k to maybe if the markets are starting to correct or do poorly. It will keep them invested, but it'll probably limit their liability, so that way they don't see their account going down as much. And when the markets are trending upward, it will tell them to probably be more aggressive to take advantage of the market positivity. And it takes, what I love about it as an advisor, it takes all the emotion out of it, because what we see is that most people, when the markets are going up, they want to be participating. They have a fear of missing out. Oh, I've got to participate in the markets. I've got to buy this. I've got to do this. And then when the markets are correcting or going down, they want to get out of the market or they want to sell their positions. And the thing is that the program that we attach to their 401ks or their 403bs or their IRAs, it takes all the emotion out of it. It allows them to just follow suit, and the algorithms, the program tells them when to make these changes to their benefit. Those that we have been using this program on we've been doing this for a few years. We've had comments from those that are using the program that they've seen tremendous growth in their 401ks or their programs that prior to what they were doing before. Because again, it takes all the emotion out. It tells them when to make these moves, when to make these changes, and they don't have to just make emotional decisions. So, and the other thing about this program, it allows us to monitor them. We actually can see how they're doing, and we can also see if they've received an email to make adjustments to their accounts and program. If they haven't done it, we contact them to make sure that they do that. So there's a lot of follow-up in our program. The other thing is that on a quarterly basis, they receive an email. And this email, and I'm going to have Carlos talk more specifically about this email, but this email allows them to stay on track, again, to become financially successful and independent. Carlos, why don't you talk about the email we send out and what specifically is in it?
Sure. We have the email has a listing of several questions that based on their livelihoods and what they're doing, will keep their financial goals on track. So their job, the clients have to, when they open it up, they can look at it. They can say number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way down to the last question. If any of these questions are in the affirmative, they can give us a call. They know to call us, so we can have a conversation. We can get together with them again and help to keep their, like I said, their financial goals on track. See what's missing, see what's happened, what's changed, because ultimately life is not static. Things are always changing, and we're there to help them every step of the way.
Now these questions again are very specific. First, they'll say, in the last 3 months, did you get married? Did you get divorced? Did you have a child? Did you buy a house? Did you sell a house? Did you get a promotion at work? Did you leave your position? Did you get a raise? Well, these questions, if any of them, as Carlos mentioned before, are in the affirmative, they need to contact us because we need to make an adjustment to their program. By doing this, it'll keep them on track. RJ, there was an article that came out a couple of days ago in the Wall Street Journal about a young lady who was dating somebody, and in 1989 they broke up. That gentleman passed away recently, and he never made adjustments to beneficiaries on his retirement plan. And what happened is that this young lady who broke up with him in 1989, married somebody else, lived another life. This gentleman lived his life, and apparently maybe he didn't marry or have children because his heirs are his brothers, and now they're in litigation to basically try to retrieve these assets from this person who in 1989 broke up with this gentleman. Now, if in this instance, if they would have been on our program, obviously getting an email that says, have there been any changes in your life that would constitute making adjustments to your plans? Well, obviously this would never happen because we would make the beneficiary advised to make beneficiary changes and make changes on all the retirement accounts to make sure that they keep up with their needs and goals and what their aspirations are.
That's like winning the lottery, I guess. It's coming out of the blue like that type of stuff.
Well, the thing is that the named beneficiaries, and be aware that named beneficiaries, when you have named beneficiaries on an insurance policy or your retirement plan, that can override a will. So this gentleman could have had a will or a trust set up, but the thing is that he never changed the beneficiary on this retirement plan, and it's a substantial amount with a large company. So people need to be aware of these things, and being that our program to help our planning program would alleviate that issue.
Now, both of you it sounds like you're very proactive when you're dealing with your clients, but isn't it also on the client to be proactive with you to try to work together? Isn't it sort of a partnership as you're working together to plan their future?
Sure, of course. I mean, they have to have a stake. I mean, it's their money. It's going to be their wealth and everything that they accumulate. Usually our clients are family people, so they have children or they have an elderly parent or parents that they need to take care of sometimes. And all these things, in aggregates come together to tell them in their mind that they need to pay attention to what's happening. After COVID happened, a lot of things changed. People kind of really woke up on how to invest their money or looking for financial advisors to help them. Going back to what I said earlier, a lot of the big companies are asking that they have 250,000 in assets already, but for us, we're willing to help, as Marc said, the underserved. So a lot of times we develop very close relationships with these clients of ours. We treat them like family, and we have to service them any way that we can. And that can be on a daily basis. It can be quarterly. It just depends on their needs. But once we get them on track, they're basically good to go. That's very reassuring for them.
RJ, as you said, most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do, for their retirement.
Guilty. I'm guilty of that.
And the thing is, what we do is we have conversations with them from time to time. As Carlos mentioned, there are times when a client's situation is changing. At that time, it's very important that they reach out to us so we can give them advice on what to do. And first off, by signing up with us as a client, they're giving us they're showing confidence in us, and they're showing trust in us in that we're going to give them advice and information that's going to benefit them. And by being able to have conversations from time to time to keep them on the right path, that just enforces that relationship. And as Carlos mentioned, we want them to feel like they are part of our financial family. And as time goes on, in most cases, they won't make a move without consulting us because we've earned that right. And that is part of this program, our planning program, is we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to work with a financial professional that can help guide them to meet these financial goals.
It's so important too, because to be in touch with your financial advisor, because life changes and you don't think of things. And I can, from my own personal experience, my wife, mother, is in a facility. She needs round the clock care. My mom is 86 going on 87, and I can see her. She's slowing down, and myself and my brothers and sister have to pay more attention to her, and we have to now plan. And 20 years ago, you never thought about that, but 20 years ago, we should have been planning for that. So what do you say to people who are in their 30s and 40s to get them to start thinking? Because no one ever said to me, "Oh, your parents are going to have some health issues, and you got to be prepared for that." That was never discussed.
But first off, you made a very good point. The earlier you start having these conversations, the better. And getting those family members that are going to be a part of your financial life. Obviously, you have a husband and wife, their children. The parents are responsible for the children. They're working hard. They're trying to get ahead. They're trying to make financial decisions that are going to get them ahead, and then help get the children ahead, get the children educated, and get them on the right track. The thing is, you don't ever count on having to take care of a parent. And one of the conversations we have with our clients, especially as they get older, is to prepare them to take care of themselves. Okay, make the right choices and invest your money the right way. That's what we try to do. We try to make everyone financially independent, because most parents do not want to be a burden on their children. But in some instances, they didn't plan. Excuse me. They did not plan properly, and now the children are involved not only in probably taking care of them physically, but also financially. So, again, going back to the program, we want people to start as early as possible to become financially independent. So when they're at that age, and I'll be long gone, Carlos is a little younger, hopefully Carlos will be around, but I might be long gone. But hopefully the programs that we've set up for them, they will benefit from in the future and allow them to take care of themselves and not need the financial help or the physical help of their children. Okay, but these are conversations that people need to have in the family. And these are conversations we have with our clients in various stages. I mean, we have clients that are just out of high school, just out of college. And then we have clients that are in their late 80s, even 90s. And we're having conversations on how to best utilize their assets. So that's, RJ, as you mentioned before, and Carlos mentioned before, it is very important to have these conversations and to continually have conversations between themselves, and hopefully they have an advisor that they're working with that they trust their advice and have confidence in.
So preparing, but how do you prepare for worst case scenarios? Like I was just pointing out, you never think that your parents are going to have issues, but they do. And part of it also is, when I was younger, my parents were younger, their parents didn't live into their 80s. They were gone by their 60s, and maybe if they were lucky, into the 70s. Things are different now. So how do you prepare? It's almost preparing for the unknown. So how do you approach that?
Again, as we mentioned earlier, you got to start early. You've got to start putting money away, because money makes things, it gives you a lot of options in the future. If you have an adequate amount of savings and investments, then you're going to be able to leverage that to live the type of lifestyle that you want. You're going to be able to take care of things later on. But as you mentioned before, people are living longer and they weren't prepared. And now that is the main reason that we're reaching out to the, like I said, the person that the average advisor is not working with, to try to get them and get the mindset to prepare yourself for the future, prepare yourself for later in life, so that way you will live the kind of life you want to live and live comfortably. I tell clients all the time, I meet up with clients all the time and doing the retirement planning. When they are making more in retirement because of saving the assets they saved and maybe budgeting and paying off and making sure that their debt was liquidated when they're getting close to retirement, I tell them, you won the game of life, because you're going to be making more in retirement than you were working. And that's a wonderful expression to get out. When you tell somebody you won the game of life, that's that, and see their expression that, wow, and we're just going to be here to continue on to make sure that you use your assets wisely and to service you. But they're going to be fine. And then it's those that, that they're in their 60s and 70s. They have to continue to work because they did not properly put money away. They did not properly plan. They did not budget correctly. And that's sad. But in those cases, when we have clients like that, we do the best we can. We try to work with them on their budgeting. We try to share ideas on how to get the most out of their money. But it's got to fit their risk tolerance. We can't just put it all 100% maybe in the stock market, because they just can't afford the volatility. So we have to work with them and have conversations and put them in the best place we can, and then service them from there.
Does the risk tolerance change over time for a client?
Sure. Sometimes, when they're younger, they want to be more aggressive. As they get to an older age, of course, they want to be more conservative, especially if, the markets might have a downturn. They want to protect their assets. So with our program in real time, the AI or the algorithm that we use on their 401ks, their TSPs, 403b, 457 plan tells them in real time to make adjustments. Now, within the program itself, it has about 5 questions that asks the clients. And based on those 5 easy questions, it probably takes less than 5 minutes to answer. The algorithm starts to or rebalances all the funds within their plan, whether it's to safety, whether it's in the middle and moderate, or whether it's very aggressive. So that's very reassuring to say that all I have to do is answer these 5 questions and I'm set in 5 minutes. Now it takes their job, they have to follow those recommendations that it's giving them, but it makes a whole difference in their outcome of their compound interest when they're starting out early, and the safety and how much assets they grow by the time that they're at the end of their work.
So those 5 questions help you assess what type of person you're dealing with as far as their risk tolerance is concerned?
Yes, and we, Mark and I are very, part of our program and part of our firm is that we're very diligent. We're very, very serious about the information we gather from our clients. We have to make sure that for suitability, we have a complete fact finder, and anything that we recommend to our clients is in line with their financial goals. We have access to every company in America being independent financial advisors, but when it comes to the algorithm, it just basically asks the 5 questions. If they ever have a turn or they have a change in their mindset about how they feel about their money, they can easily go into these questions or rebalance them, or not rebalance them, but basically answer the 5 questions to be more moderate, conservative, or aggressive, depending on what they feel. And the algorithm will accordingly rebalance their funds to those parameters.
So those 5 questions help you throughout the client's sort of financial life then?
Yes, at any time, in real time.
Okay. And so when things change with the economy, do you recommend to people to sort of reevaluate with those 5 questions? Or do you say, stay the course?
We usually tell them to. It's a case by case basis. It just depends on what information we gather from them and the fact finder. Sometimes it's very you're young, you're 20, 24, 25 years of age. You want to be aggressive. You want a dollar cost average. You want to be. Sometimes the markets are low, sometimes they're high, and you're buying low. It just depends on the situation. What gets really for concerning for these clients is once they're reaching retirement. That's when things get really like, oh, I don't want to lose all this money. History has shown us, as we've all seen in 2008, the subprime mortgage crisis, the markets went down. People lost 40% of their money, of their pensions, of all the money that they've grown in 30 years or plus of working, and that's a lot of money. Now, people that had this program, this algorithm that we use as software, people that answered those 5 questions, going back to the 5 questions, RJ, that were conservative, they made 4%. They made 4% during this time.
Wow.
So that's testament to, non-emotional, answering your questions honestly, and letting it do its work, based on math and based on its recommendations. They were able to live comfortably and retire comfortably. Whereas a lot of other Americans had a lot of anxiety, saying, well, what are my options now? What am I going to do? Am I going to have to continue working into my 60s or later? You want to get to that point of life when you want to just relax and enjoy. As Mark said, you want to be able to retire and to have more assets coming your way, so you can enjoy your retirement and leave a legacy if that's what what your goal is too.
Okay, we're getting up to the end of the program here. Mark, you want to sort of wrap things up here, and Carlos, I'll also ask you for a final thought for this podcast.
Well, I've been doing this for 38 years as a financial advisor, and helping people. I've helped people, meet their financial goals, but helping those that are not getting help, that are now, like I said, serving the underserved. I just feel that I want to leave that as my legacy as an advisor, that we helped those that were not getting help to become financially independent. And I'm just, if we accomplish this, then that will cement that everything I did was as an advisor was worthwhile.
All right, Carlos, final thoughts?
I share Mark's the same thing as Mark. I mean, I was an educator at the university before I came into this new profession. Nobody in my department or in the whole university had any help like Mark and I are providing for our clients. My wife works for the government. She also didn't have any help with her funds and how her pension works and how to rebalance. So I feel very, very happy as an educator background and as education background to help my peers and my fellow Americans get ahead and guide them to a good retirement, to build their wealth and keep their financial goals on track. Yes.
Awesome. All right, Marc, Carlos, where can people get a hold of you? Marc, we'll start with you.
Well, you can reach us at Marc, M-A-R-C, at MAHfinancial.biz. It's my email. Or you can call our office at area code 956-994-0407. If you'd like to have a conversation, if you'd like to see where you stand and how we can help you, feel free to reach out. Be happy to talk to you.
Carlos, where can people find you?
Carlos, C-A-R-L-O-S, Carlos at MAHfinancial.biz, and our office, like Mark said.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, guys. Great podcast. Looking forward to your next podcast, and thank you for listening to today's Retire Rich Tales of Financial Freedom podcast. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with friends and family. Until next time, for Marc and Carlos, I'm R.J. Malik.
Thank you for listening to Retire Rich Tales of Financial Freedom. Have questions about topics covered during the show? Visit our website at www.mahfinancial.biz or give us a call at 956-994-0407. Don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Investment advisory services and financial planning services are offered through Simplicity Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of the firm, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance, consulting, and education services offered through M.A.H. Financial. M.A.H. Financial is an unaffiliated entity from Simplicity Wealth. Clicking the like button does not constitute a testimonial for or an endorsement of our investment advisory firm, any associated person, or our services. Clicking the like button is merely a mechanism to circulate our page. Like is not meant in the traditional sense. In addition, postings to our page must refrain from recommending us or providing testimonials for our investment advisory firm. Because the SEC and state securities regulators generally prohibit testimonials, any such postings are subject to swift removal.
The views expressed herein reflect the views of Marc Hernandez and Carlos Lopez as of the date referenced. These views may change as conditions change. The views expressed herein are not intended and should not be construed as investment advice, and they do not address any individual's specific situation.